Hello there my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And guys, have I got a humdinger for you today. I'm about to deliver the latest instalment of our star-crossed lovers, Mike and Natalie. I'm going to make my intro super short because we've got an awful lot to get through. I kid you not, these guys have got me writing 12 pages of notes. Very quickly, if you haven't done so yet, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And you can follow me on Twitter at Ebird Online. So without further ado, I give you Mike and Natalie. So we catch up with Natalie and she's sitting on the beach in Seattle. Natalie's decided to have a surprise meeting with Mike after work. And as Mike walks down the pier towards Natalie, she runs towards him and he sweeps her off her feet. And they do this weird thing that they always seem to do, i.e. pretend to be in love. Guys, you're not fooling anybody, you can't stand the sight of each other. And so we go very quickly over to them talking to producers. And they're describing how they first met. Oh right, that old chestnut, how you first met. Conspiracy theories of our time, numero tres. We have who shot JFK, who did it, nobody knows for sure. The 1969 moon landing, did it really happen? And now, in the latest in Tales of the Unexpected, we have where's this fantasy invisible godchild, and where's his parents? As the story goes, Natalie and Mike were godparents to the same kid, and their friends got them together. Now I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe this tall tale for 1 second, I really don't. But I'm prepared to admit, I have been wrong before. I think the last time was around 1989 or something like that. But anyway, it has been known, so if either of these two fantasy friends are listening, please make yourself known to the internet. I'd like to verify your existence on planet Earth. And just if you're wondering, here's my theory on how they met. On some dodgy, find a Ukrainian bride internet site. And so after they'd finished peddling that old lie to the producers, they started talking about the day they got married. And again, production asked Mike, why didn't you want to get married on that day? I just didn't. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Old TLC, I've told you before and I'll tell you again, if your employees refuse to do the work that they're contracted to do, then you don't pay them. I don't want to hear any more. I don't want to talk about it this season. Thank you. And so these guys are going to a hotel. And as they walk in, honestly guys, I thought it was the same one that Natalie and Tamara were barred from. And I low-key managed to traumatise myself because I went back about 4 or 5 episodes to look at the hotel and I inadvertently saw Andrew as I was scrolling through. You guys, nobody can say that I haven't suffered for my art. Honestly guys, still now, every time I see Andrew, I feel my temperature rising and my blood boiling. And that's due in part to the fact that many of my subscribers are drinking his bloody Kool-Aid still. Anyway, it turns out it wasn't the same hotel. Not surprising really, that hotel's probably dead to Natalie. And Natalie tells production having a night together in a Seattle hotel room will help them to feel close to each other and relax and in love. Natalie, you're newlyweds who live together. If that's not enough for you to feel the love, something's very, very wrong. And when they get into the hotel room, Natalie says, love, I'm so happy we finally get to spend a night together in Seattle. Really, Natalie? I bet not for long. I bet not for long at all. And Natalie's really getting into her stride now. She leans back on the bed and she says, Mike, somebody's screaming in the woods. Really, it's true. Somebody's always screaming. And Mike looked a bit perplexed. Somebody's screaming in the woods. Oh, Natalie, it's probably the girl that Mike told you not to worry about. He's still shagging her. No, seriously, you know I'm only joking. Guys, seriously, it's of course Tamara. Here's my reasoning. She's got drunken beau slobbering. She's got Mike prevaricating. She's got Mike's mum plotting. And then she's got Natalie hyperventilating. Guys, if I was Tamara, I'd walk into the woods and scream my effing lungs out. I think it's fair to say it's most likely Tamara. And so with that out of the way, we move on to Natalie's next problem. Because she has, of course, a plethora. And this next problem is an oldie, but a goodie. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the return of the ring. I honestly thought I would never hear another word about this bloody ring. But oh no, she's got her ring. Now she's on to talking about some other bloody ring. And she grabs Mike's pudgy hand. What do you see? And he said nothing, a hand, a hair, skin, nails, cuticles. And she said, there is no ring. And then Natalie explains to us that she's bought a little shitty ring for herself. And it only cost $3, but she wanted to have an actual wedding ring. Between you and me, I think it's still very likely more valuable than the rinky-dink ring that Mike gave her. But I digress. Mike tells her, I don't want to wear a ring. I can't wear a ring at work because it's a health and safety issue. Yep, that's right, a health and safety issue. Mike, come on now. Who is it you think you're dealing with? I'll let you know. It's Ebird Online. Kids, I know beyond a shadow of doubt that this is utter bullshit. It is not a health and safety issue for Mike at all. Mike, why don't you ever tell the truth? What's wrong with you? But I know some of my subscribers always doubt me. So kids, let's get to tapping in the latest instalment of Ebird Investigates. Right, so let's all take a look at Mike's job, shall we? He works for a company called Whitecap. Who are they? What do they do? I'll tell you. Whitecap is one of the nation's largest suppliers of power tools. So as we see here, Mike's the manager of the Seattle branch. Branch manager, Mike Youngvist. So I thought I'd have a look and see what the roles and responsibilities of branch manager were. What is it that Mike does that means he can't wear a wedding band? Oh dear. So I found Mike's actual job spec. Branch manager, job summary. So he basically has to direct all sales and management operations. He has to look after his staff. He has to do the accounts, profit and loss, return on investment, etc. He'll have repeated use of a calculator and repeated use of a 10 pad, which is the numeric part of your keypad. He has to deal with sales strategy and customer relationships. Okay, very interesting. Let's take a moment to look at the work environment. Located in a comfortable indoor area. You need to have the ability to lift up and carry 50 pounds in a physical environment. And he has to stand for long periods of time, up to and exceeding 60 minutes. So basically, he works managing staff in a shop. Oh Mike, you know good and well you can wear the ring, now get it on. But Mike's busy moaning to production yet again, and he says he's made a massive commitment, the biggest commitment that anybody could ever make to anybody. Oh my god, what more does she want? You Mike, to wear a ring. Anything else? Good. I literally can't believe he's trying to sell us the lie that it's too dangerous to wear a wedding ring. That's yet another lie to add to the ever-growing litany of lies that Mike tells. I always know if Mike's lying, his lips are bloody moving. So no doubt, Natalie nagged and nagged and nagged and nagged until Mike finally agreed to get a crappy $3 ring. And so they go off to the Stargazer's shop, and Natalie reminds us on the way that they've been married for a full 6 months. 6 months? Wow, I thought this was just after the wedding. They still look really awkward with each other, as if they barely know each other still. I honestly think this is the strangest relationship I've seen on the whole of this franchise. If you've seen stranger, if you've seen more awkward, please do let me know. I know I haven't. And so they enter the Stargazer's shop, and the shop assistant said, "Hi there, what kind of energy would you like to fill your home with?" Electricity and gas. Now stop chatting shit and get the rings out, I'm very busy. And then we go back to production, and Natalie and Mike are talking about religion. Natalie explains, "I am Russian Orthodox, but I do believe in energy." And Mike says, "Well, I believe in aliens. We all come from stardust." And he had a self-satisfied little nod of his head, as if he was imparting some highly intelligent super thoughts. And guys, you know this aliens malarkey grinds my gears because it's the mumblings of a bloody idiot. Now I think last time I expressed such sentiments, there were people in the comments and some of them said, well, the idea of us being created by aliens is no more ridiculous than the idea that God created us, or of any religious theory. Yes, it is more ridiculous. Yes, it definitely is. And I'm going to tell you how. The Quran. There's a full story. How we came to be created. How we came to be. Why we do what we do. It's all there. The Bible. God made us in 7 days, apparently. Adam took 2 ribs out and made Eve. Now you may or may not believe that, but at least there's a full theory. At least there's a concept as to how we are the way we are and how we came to be. Even Scientologists have managed to cobble some sort of story together, and I think that too is kind of alien based or extraterrestrial based. I don't mind you having whatever religion you want, but the very least you can do is to put your back into it. I would like a holy book to go with your religion, please, Mike. That's all I want. Mike, how did we get here? Where do we go? You can't just say space dust and nod authoritatively. Guys, I've got every reason to believe that Mike has gained his critical thinking skills from the cat next door. I literally can't with Mike anymore. I just can't. Natalie's a loon as well, I know. But I think Mike's veneer of logical, authoritarian energy really yanks my chain, because he really isn't the brightest spark from what I can ascertain. And so while they're in this shop, they talk about sexual energy as well. And at the mere mention of sex, Mike said, "Oh yeah, baby, I like that. Let's get it on. Yeah, yeah." He really is like a horny prepubescent boy. He's so childish. If anybody mentions sex or intimacy, he's like, "Yeah, baby, yeah, yeah," as if he's never had a girlfriend before. He's just weird. Guys, let me know what you think. Do you think it's weird? Do you notice this? And as Mike's doing his sophomore year nerd routine, the shop assistant says, "It's immediately clear that there's a lot of love between these two. And there's a potential for them to have a really strong energy." Thus confirming my strong suspicion that she's a freaking numbskull in a black dress. So finally, they pick out a $3 ring. And Mike says to production, "Is it going to help our relationship?" "No." "Okay, Mike, that's a no for you, but it might not be a no for Natalie. It might be a yes for her. You know how Natalie likes the ring." And as if these two haven't done enough, they heap yet more embarrassment on us because Natalie gets on one knee and she asks Mike for his hand in marriage. And he says yes. And while you're down there, Natalie... Sorry, Mum, sorry. I've had a glass of wine. I think it's showing. And when sitting talking to production again, Mike and Natalie talk about the ring. And Natalie says, "It's a symbol." And Mike said, "Well, it is a symbol, but it's really not an important thing. The important thing is love and being together." "Oh, Mike, that's cheapskate talk. You know that, don't you?" And next time we see this crappy couple, it's Mike's birthday. And Natalie's organised a surprise party. Well, sushi in the lobby of a hotel. It's the sushi again. And she's got a bottle of champagne. And it's all nice and cosy in the lobby. It's those really intimate settings that make me realise there's a lot of love between Natalie and Mike. And there's a potential for them to have a really strong energy. And guys, we have that weird energy again. Natalie's sitting there. And honestly, she's looking like it's a first date. She's pulling her top down, she's pushing her hair back, and she's looking expectantly at the lift, waiting for Mike to exit. And finally, Mike saunters in with a big smile on his face. And they begin an awkward chat. The kind of awkward chat that you have when you barely know somebody. And as they're talking, I become aware of yet another problem I have with Natalie and another problem I have with Mike. Natalie seems like she's pretending she's in love. It's kind of like she wants to be in love, but she's not. So she's really trying to force it. And Mike? Well, Mike, I want to know, where's this famous sense of humour? Now, don't get me wrong. I know that Natalie's a personality vacuum. But if you're funny, you're funny. Mr. Ebird's extremely funny, and I guarantee you, he can go nowhere without making people laugh. But everyone thinks Mike's this really fun guy, and I've yet to see any of it. Beau is far more amusing than Mike ever was. And so Mike and Natalie sit down and tuck into their sushi. And Natalie said, "Mike, I want more date nights like this and romantic stuff because I'm dying from boredom." "Oh, Natalie, don't you know, only boring people are bored. My grandmother told me that, and I make her right." And then Natalie says, "I know what we can do. Let's go to Nevada so that we can ski and you can board Mike." And Mike said, "Yeah, maybe." And she said, "Well, you used to live in Reno, didn't you? I haven't got to meet any of your friends yet. Do you think I'll get along with your friends?" And Mike said, "Well, it depends on you." And she said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Sometimes you attack people and you come off really harsh." And Natalie said, "Well, you have to consider that I'm from another country and I'm speaking in my second language." Which I think is partway true, because I think that the way Natalie says things and expresses things is harsh. But I do think it's that no-nonsense way that Russians and Ukrainians seem to speak in. And it brings me back to the time when Uncle Beau said to Natalie, "Keep in touch." And Natalie said, "No, I cannot, not after this." And I get what she meant. She was just being real and honest. But in the time, it was kind of like, and had it not been a drunken Uncle Beau, the person might have taken more offence than he did. Meanwhile, Mike's still rumbling on about how rude Natalie is. And Natalie piped up and said, "Well, if people didn't send you naked photos, I'd be more polite." Oh my lord, what the fresh hell is this? Now, I've been supporting Mike. I don't think he's a liar. I think he's lots of things, but he doesn't come across as a liar to me. but it seems now not a week goes by without some more allegations coming out. Mike took one look at Natalie, he drank his whole glass of champagne down in one, and then he got up and left. So a couple of minutes later, Mike returns with a carrier bag and his overnight bag. He hands Natalie a credit card and he tells the producer, "I'm going home. That's it, I'm out of here." And the producer said, "But what are you going to do?" And Mike said, "I'm going to go home. I'm going to have some drinks. I'm going to take some shots." And he walked off into the night, leaving Natalie standing there, dumbfounded. And that's where we leave things for this week. So what does the Ebird make from all of this? Well, let's dig into this latest allegation. According to Natalie, Mike's got a friend in Reno who Mike claims is just a friend, but she always sends topless shots to him. This is what I know about that friend. They've slept together. Girls do not just send shots of their titties to random guys. It doesn't happen. Something's gone on between Mike and this girl, and there seems to be a pattern. Instead of just saying, yeah, that's an ex-girlfriend, and leaving it at that, Mike seems to want to say, oh no, it's just a friend, nothing's ever happened. The same as he did with the girl who was getting married, who Natalie thought something had happened before. So I'm not suddenly saying now that I think Mike's guilty, but I am second guessing the fact that I said I don't think Mike lies. She didn't just send a topless shot once, she sent it several times according to Natalie. This is bad form. If someone's sending you nudes and you're engaged to be married, you just tell the person, do you know what, don't send any more, delete them, end of story. That obviously wasn't said because she continued to send them and you continued to save them, Mike. Next up, these guys are really awkward with each other and Mike is still saying we need to get to know each other, we need to be more comfortable with each other. Mike, it's 9 months down the line now, that's quite a lot of time. You are together each night. And then we have to consider Mike just storming out on his birthday. Natalie made a fairly valid point. Maybe I wouldn't be rude to people if they didn't send you topless photos. She said it was kind of a joke. I guess it wasn't. It was a little barbed comment, but I don't feel it was that bad and it wasn't said super maliciously. I think she was just making a point. Is this still happening? Are these titty shots still happening? And Mike swigged back his champagne and he drove the 3 hours home from Seattle on his birthday. I can't help but think Mike wants to hang out with his buddies in a bar somewhere or do something with his friends, sans Natalie. I think he wants to do this without Natalie being there. Guys, let me know what you think, but I've just got a feeling he wanted to get rid of Natalie and he took the first good opportunity. And it also seems strange that he hasn't introduced Natalie to any of his friends. That makes me think, after 9 months, what secrets are you keeping? Are they maybe going to tell stories of who you've slept with previously, people that you've denied sleeping with? Is he worried about what might slip out? I'm certainly beginning to wonder. And then finally, there's the horseshit with the ring. Mike, you can wear a ring in a tool hire shop. That's basically where you work. You work in a tool hire shop. There's nothing to stop you from wearing a $3 ring at work. And it's all very well saying the rings aren't important. And whilst that's true to a point, you wearing a wedding ring is a symbol that you acknowledge to everybody, I'm married. People at work, your friends, just people at large. I'm married, I'm a married man. But the one thing I will say in Mike's defence, and this is pretty much the only thing I can say in his defence, is that one, Natalie pushes buttons, and also, even though Natalie's taken it upon herself to blame Mike's mum for the wedding being off, it was really Mike's decision. Mike's a big boy. Mike didn't want to marry Natalie. I see that now. He seems no more close or no more tolerant of Natalie and her whole shit as he did from the first day she turned up. These two aren't a married couple, they're like two strangers that live in the same house and have sex. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me that this is the weirdest relationship on the whole of the 90-day franchise? I can't think of any stranger. Do you believe Mike and his health and safety ring excuse? And why do you think Mike was so happy to skip off into the night on his birthday, leaving Natalie at the hotel? Sorry this one's been so long. And just before I go, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying my reviews. And also don't forget to click the like button. It really does help me with my positioning for YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online and I bid you good day.